Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this glorious September morning here in San Juan County. It is September 5th. It is Labor Day weekend, and we are glad that you are with us. We have the wondrous Mark Wolf today is going to be our main speaker. Fred Brown is going to play music for us, and either me or Jenny is going to do a spiritual reading. So we'll
claim your homeowner stimulus today.
Have a good deal.
The
I don't
home
know.
stimulus program is giving homeowners up to $3,708 every year, but you can get it.
Hey, my phone just decided to play an ad, so sorry about that. I got it all turned down now. Anyway, so I'm glad that you're here, and we are going to have a great time. Let me see who else is here. Yeah. So as far as for announcements, of course, we will not be having a potluck after the Zoom meeting for obvious reasons. But we will we'll try again next month, see what happens. We have no idea what's going to happen between now and the first Sunday in October. So hopefully we'll be back together, some of us in person in the sanctuary. Next week we will have a board meeting after the Zoom meeting or after the regular meeting. I'm pretty sure we'll probably still be meeting on Zoom next week. I don't think we're gonna err on the side of caution as far as this COVID thing goes. I'm in no rush to go back to expose our people to COVID. So we'll look at it as the numbers go down and as we are directed basically by our health departments and our government. So anyway, so that's where we are with that. Jerry Lard has been in the hospital all week. She is still in the hospital, but she is with us today. Her breathing is really labored, and so in order for her to talk is really a struggle. So she would really prefer to listen today, and she appreciates all of your prayers and your love that you have sent for her, and she will give you the thumbs up whenever. There you go. There's her thumbs up. Just acknowledging those prayers and those love and that energy that you send to her. So there we go. Does anyone want to pray us open? Margaret, do you want to pray for us or no? You have to unmute.
Thank you, God, ever expanding, ever extending, unconditional love, for your presence here with us today. Thank you for helping us to be aware of you speaking to our hearts and minds, that we may grasp what it is you would have us understand, that we may carry it with us through the week. In the spirit of Christ consciousness, amen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was a nice prayer. So, suppose we get have our first song now. You ready, Fred?
Freddie's ready.
Okay, if you're ready, Freddie, let's go for it.
This is an old standard. Figure I'd just start with something that I haven't played in a while, and one of the songs everybody knows. What a Wonderful World. So. Well, I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, Also in the faces, people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow, 'cause they'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, Red, it's a wonderful world. 'Cause you know I see trees of green, red roses too, and I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds are white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. There you go. With the key change.
Thank you,
Gave a
Fred.
key change. Welcome.
All right. We love you and we thank you. Jenny, I'm sorry I didn't get with you. I didn't find my list until we were already into our book study this morning. I didn't realize, forgot that you had taken over Mike's position. If you don't have anything, I have something. You are muted.
Usually I do the third week.
First week.
Not,
Well, I guess-
not in my calendar. It's the third week, but I might have taken, I might have flip-flopped one time with somebody. So the short of it is I don't.
Well, that's okay. I got one here. It's probably appropriate. That's okay.
All right,
Thank you,
great.
Jenny.
Thank you.
Okay, this is September 5th from Around the World with Emmett Fox. You cannot ever go wrong by doing Emmett Fox. The world is not going to the dogs. The human race is not doomed. Civilization is not going to crash. The captain is on the bridge. Humanity is going through a difficult time, but humanity has gone through difficult times many times before in its long history and has always come through strengthened and purified. Do not worry yourself about the universe collapsing. It is not going to collapse. And in any way, that question is none of your business. The captain is on the bridge. If the survival of humanity depended upon you or me, it would be a poor lookout for the great enterprise, would it not? The captain is on the bridge. God is still in business. All that you have to do is to realize the presence of God where trouble seems to be, to do your nearest duty to the very best of your ability, and to keep an even mind until the storm is over. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Psalms 119, 165. That was today's reading. So that's a good one. Today we have Mark Wolf here from Western Kentucky, and he I don't know why they put it in different places on different things. Anyway, so Mark Wolf is with us today, and he has got a message which I'm sure probably is in line with just about what we read. We read today in our book study group about that the human consciousness has a lot to do with natural disasters like hurricanes and floods and tornadoes and all that stuff, that it's all involved in there. And of course, Miracles tells us we make our own realities. And so it was talking about those. And then that little reading there, which was today, I don't know what Mark's going to say, but I would guess it probably carries on with that same theme. Most of you are familiar with Mark. He's an ordained minister. He's had various things that he has done over the years. He's been involved in metaphysics and spiritual teachings and the Kabbalah and a lot of other things for a long time. Very, very knowledgeable, very a good speaker. And so we're anxious to get to him and stop listening to me. So will you take it away, Brother Mark? You're muted.
I found the right button. So anyway, right, seriously. Anyway, good morning. Thank you, Ron, for giving the message this morning in your reading. Good morning, everybody. I'm always happy to be here as your Sunday morning speaker, as your guest speaker, and certainly always honored that you want to hear what I have to say. You know, it's Labor Day weekend. I don't know how that happened. Did anybody else get that memo? Yeah, Labor Day weekend. You know, the best I remember, I had just bit the ears off my chocolate bunny. And then the next thing I know, people are saying, well, happy Labor Day weekend. Wait a minute, what? What? I said, wait a minute, at least let me eat the chocolate rabbit before we put out the pumpkins and the turkeys and the Christmas trees, you know? People tell me that time seems to move faster, and that just happens as we get older. And I said, what do you mean get older? Wasn't I just in 12th grade? No, that's my son in the 12th grade. So, but even he says that time feels different. The flow of time feels different. It feels like it's accelerated. And I think they were all feeling it in some way. And so here we are this morning, and this is the eve of Rosh Hashanah, begins tomorrow evening at sundown, the Jewish New Year of 5782. And as the flow of time appears to be accelerating, I believe, I really become convinced that it is the light of the Creator pressing us and encouraging us and prompting us and giving us a little kick in the seat of the pants, you know, to wake up and get really serious about the things that we need to learn and heal and forgive and let go of and realize and become. It is time for us to take upon ourselves the greatness that we came here to experience and share. And it's in that light, or in that spirit, that I want to share the morning's message with you. So I think it's time that we had a really frank discussion about the elephant in the room. Okay. Coronavirus. Okay. Plague. Just call it what it is. You know, 2020 was such a catastrophic year in so many ways. We had quarantine, we had lockdown, we had economic collapse, not to mention hundreds of thousands of casualties in this. And when the vaccine became available, I thought, well, we're all going to get vaccinated and that's going to be the end of it. We'll put this behind us. And then about the time I finished eating my chocolate rabbit, I got my double dose of the vaccine and I said, well, it's over. It's finally over. Only now that we find out that in many places, the vaccine rate is only about half. And in many areas, it's like a quarter of the adults have bothered to get a vaccine. And now a new mutation of the virus appears to be taking us back towards square one. And so this morning, we're going to talk about a message called Plague and the Brass Serpent. Now, the brass serpent is a reference to the story of the book of Numbers, chapter 21. If you're taking notes, jot that down. As I said before, the book of Numbers is where the real story occurs. It's the most interesting part of the Torah. So in the story in Numbers chapter 21, the children of Israel are in the desert, okay, and they have been bitten by a plague of poisonous serpents. And so Moses was instructed by God to cast a serpent of brass and put it on a pole, and then everyone who looked up at the brass serpent would be healed. Okay. Now, here's the thing. There are many interpretations of this story, but this morning we're going to ask a question. Okay, actually, this morning we're going to ask 3 tough questions. And the first one is rather obvious if you think about it. Why brass? Why brass? Why was the serpent made out of brass? I mean, why not gold or silver or wood or stone or anything, but why brass? See, I was taught, I was in Sunday school, and I was taught that it was faith. It was faith that healed the people of the poisonous venom. They had faith, and they lifted up their eyes, and they saw the brass serpent on the pole, and their faith healed them. So, okay, well, yeah, that's part of it. That is part of it. But if that's all there was to the story, then the serpent on the pole could have been made out of clay. And it would have been a lot easier to make it out of clay than out of brass. So we're left with the question, why brass? That's our first tough question. Now, the second tough question. Inquiring minds want to know, if outer space, okay, you didn't expect that. If outer space is full of starlight and full of sunlight, which is sunlight, same thing as starlight. If outer space is full of light, why is it dark? Why is the night sky dark if it's full of light? See, all the stars are busy shining their light, but it's dark. And why? See, I thought that even a tiny amount of light had the power to roll back any amount of darkness. And so what's wrong? Okay, why is outer space dark when it's full of starlight? That's our second tough question. And the third tough question is, we're going to go back to the Bible. We're going to look at the book of the prophet Isaiah. And here it is. If something is destined to happen at a specific time, can it be changed? Okay. Can a Bible prophecy be changed, and how? Okay. Is it even possible? So, okay, we have 3 tough questions this morning. First question, why was the serpent made out of brass? Second question, why is outer space dark even when it's full of starlight? And the third question, can the time frame of Bible prophecy be changed? All right. So what does all this have to do with our frank discussion of the elephant in the room, the coronavirus, the COVID? Well, actually a great deal. So let's plow into it. Okay, book of Numbers, chapter 21, verse 6. The children of Israel are in the desert, okay? And they are griping and complaining, and they're saying, Moses, we are tired of this miraculous manna. We want some real bread. And we're thirsty, and we're hungry, and we're tired, and we're ready to go back to Egypt, because at least they had real bread in Egypt. And not this awful miracle bread that we're sick of. And Moses, we're tired of God, and we're tired of you. God forbid. Okay, that's the story. And as a result of that negativity, a plague of poisonous snakes came upon them, and many people died. And then the people woke up, and they realized how negative they had been. And they came to Moses, and they said, Moses, we've done wrong. Please do whatever you got to do, but make the poisonous snakes go away. So verse 8, okay, and the Lord said to Moses, make a serpent of brass and set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he sees it, shall live. And then verse 9, and Moses made a serpent of brass. And it came to pass that when a person was bitten, when he looked up at the brass serpent, he was healed. Okay. Now, first, what's brass? And what is brass? Well, I looked it up. Okay, I Googled it. And it says brass is an alloy, meaning a mix of copper and zinc. Now, if you mix copper and tin, you get bronze. But biblical Hebrew does not really distinguish between brass and bronze. Both of them are called nachash. Nice Hebrew word there. You get your throat involved, and that is nachash. Okay, so let's take a look at what's common here, the copper. And we're going to take a look at copper, silver, and gold. In order to do this, we're going to go back to 12th grade. We're going to all be in the 12th grade today, and we're going to go back to 12th grade chemistry. Okay, on the periodic table of the elements. Remember that? Okay. On the periodic table, copper and silver and gold are atomically similar. Okay, but in their spirituality, or we might say in their alchemy, they're different. Okay, now listen. Here's what happens. Oxygen, okay, the element oxygen in the air. Okay, oxygen in the air comes to copper, and oxygen says, oh, what am I going to do? My atoms are short a few electrons. Copper, can you help me? Hey, buddy, can you spare an electron? And copper says, sure. No problem. I have plenty of electrons. I can spare a few. Take some of mine. It's no problem. And so copper shares with the oxygen. And that's why copper will gradually turn green. Then oxygen in the air comes to silver. And oxygen says, oh, what am I going to do? My atoms are short a few electrons. Silver, can you help me? Buddy, can you spare an electron? And silver, being full of compassion, says, yes, of course. I have plenty of electrons. I'll be happy to share some. Take some of mine. And silver shares with the oxygen in the air. And that's why the silver will gradually turn black. Then oxygen in the air comes to gold, the most beautiful and most precious of all the metals. And the oxygen says, oh, what am I going to do? My atoms are short a few electrons. Gold, most beautiful and precious of all the metals. Can you please help me? Gold, can you spare some electrons? Hey, buddy, can you spare an electron? And gold says, get a job. I don't have any electrons to share with you. My electrons are mine. And I don't have any electrons to share. And gold shares nothing. Okay? Gold, that's why if you 12th grade chemistry, gold never enters into chemical compounds because gold does not share electrons. Gold never shares. Okay, that's why it does not tarnish. Gold says what's mine is mine and I can't help you. Now, that's why in the Kabbalah, the mystical teaching of the Jews, gold is a symbol of selfishness. Gold is very negative. It is a symbol of refusing to share and refusing to help and refusing to care for others. Now, back to our first question, our first tough question. Why was Moses told to make the serpent out of brass? Okay, here's the reason. It's very cool once you get into it. Brass looks like gold. Okay, but brass has the spiritual attribute of sharing. Okay, brass is like gold transformed from selfishness and negativity into sharing and light. All right. So the teaching here regarding the coronavirus is twofold. First, we have to take action. We have to take a physical action. Why? Because the instruction given to Moses was very specific. You make a serpent of brass and set it on a pole. Tell people to look at it. They had to take a physical action. See, faith alone was part of it, but it wasn't enough. Okay. In other words, they couldn't just, well, you know, we're gonna visualize a beautiful brass serpent on a pole, the most beautiful brass serpent you've ever seen. We're going to visualize that brass serpent radiating light. And now okay, that's fine, but there's more to it than that. You have to take a physical action. It says, no, you make the serpent and you look at it. You do something. And we have to take a physical action. Now, I'll tell you something. The physical action that I'm seeing right now, put on a mask. Okay. Get a vaccine. Okay. Take care of yourself and others. We need a physical action. But a physical action alone is also not enough. We also need a spiritual action. See, brass looks like gold, but brass is gold transformed to positivity and sharing. So you take the spiritual action to move your heart from selfishness and me alone into the light of sharing. See, it's not just sharing and giving anymore. We have to move past that. We have to think of this as a sort of a spiritual technology that is going to move us past this appearance of crisis. Brass teaches us to share and take care of each other. Brass teaches us to transform. That's why the serpent was made out of brass. Second question. We move from 12th grade chemistry to 12th grade physics. Why is outer space dark when it's full of starlight? Why is the night sky black? Why isn't it bright? Because it's all full of starlight. Okay. The stars are all in the sky. You know what? The stars sing. Did you know that? The stars sing. They sing. As you look in the book of Job, chapter 38, verse 7, and it says that the stars sing. And maybe I don't know, maybe they're singing, I'm going to let my little light shine. I'm going to let it shine, but the night sky is still dark. Why? So back to 12th grade physics, and let's ask another question. Follow me here. How do we see anything? I mean, how do we see anything? Okay. How does that happen? Say, well, you shine a light on it. You shine a light on, you can see it, right? Partly. Okay. Listen. We're at the time of the new moon. And by about Wednesday or Thursday, we're going to be able to see a real pretty crescent moon in the western sky. How do we see it at all? Sunlight falls on the moon, right? Sunlight falls on the moon, and the moon absorbs some of the light, and then some of the light is reflected. Some of the light bounces off. And it's that bounced off light that we see. Okay. Anything, a tree. How do you see a tree? Do you see a tree? Sunlight falls on the tree, and the tree absorbs some of the light and reflects some of it. And it's that reflected, bounced off light that we see. It's the same with everything, a table, a chair, a piece of pecan pie, whatever. That's how we see. Light falls on it. Some of the light is absorbed and some of the light bounces off. And it's the reflected light that we see in our eyes. Okay. Whatever it is that we see, it's because something is reflecting light. Now, the bounced off light, that's how we see. So I'm going to tell you something, and it may change how you perceive the world. It may affect your perception of reality, but let's go with it. We're going to paraphrase the rabbi from Nazareth. Okay. We're going to paraphrase the rabbi who said, consider the lilies of the field. So let's consider the lilies of the field. How do you see a lily in the field? Well, light falls on the lily. The lily absorbs some of the light. Some of the light bounces off, and you see the lily. Okay. The lily takes the light that it needs, but it shares the rest. This is important. Until someone, listen, until someone is willing to share, we will remain engulfed in darkness. Okay. The moon is bright, not because of the light it receives, but because of the light it shares. Physical objects are bright and they're visible because of the light they share. It's the sharing that manifests the physical light. And outer space is full of light, but it's still dark. And why is that? Because it's empty. There's nothing to share the light. Okay? Light is invisible until it is shared. Outer space is dark because there is no sharing. The stars are busy shining their little light, and they're pouring out their light into space, but the space between them remains dark because there's nothing to share the light and reflect it. Spiritual light works exactly the same way. See, the creator is busy pouring out spiritual light on us, blessings and light and life and opportunity and all the time, 24/7. And yet our world remains engulfed in darkness until we choose to share that light. Regardless of how much light and blessing the Creator is giving to us and offering to us, the world remains engulfed in darkness until we make a choice to share the light and the blessing that we're receiving. Now, here's an important part of the teaching. Here's an important part. Part of the light that we receive is for us. Okay? Part of the light we receive is for us, and it's supposed to be ours. This is not about giving away everything and go sit under a bridge and meditate. Okay? Part of the light and part of the blessing that we receive is ours to provide for ourselves. But part of the light and blessing that we receive is ours to share. It's ours. Oh, yes, absolutely. And it's ours to share. And I've come to believe that in order to overcome the darkness that appears to engulf our world right now, we're going to have to give and share and manifest more light. Remember talking about the catastrophe of 2020? Remember the toilet paper shortage? Remember that whole drama? We got a light shortage going on. It is a light shortage. And we're going to have to share, yeah, exactly. We're going to have to share some more light in order to overcome this. We cannot fight the darkness. It's not possible. You can't hit it with a baseball bat and teach it a lesson. But we can eliminate it. We can eliminate it through acts of love and sharing and giving and caring, because that manifests the invisible light. That's why outer space is dark, even though it's full of starlight. And that's why our world languishes, engulfed in darkness, and even when our world is filled with, full of the light of the Creator. We have to share the light in order to manifest the light. Now, third question, and then we're going to tie it all together. Can a Bible prophecy, once the prophet has seen it and written it down, can it be changed? And for this question, we're going to turn to the book of the prophet Isaiah. And part of this prophecy is very familiar. It's read at Christmas time. But I'm going to read it to you, and I'm going to shorten it because it's quite long. It's Isaiah chapter 60. If you're taking notes, Isaiah 60, verses 1 through 22. But let's kind of shorten it, a little shorter version, so we can stick to our time frame this morning. Okay, so Isaiah 60. Arise, shine, for your light has come. The glory of the Lord is risen upon you. For behold, darkness shall cover the earth, and darkness shall engulf the people. But the Lord will arise over you, and his glory shall be seen upon you. All nations shall come to your light, You shall see and become radiant, and your heart shall swell because the wealth of the nations shall come to you. The caravan of camels shall cover your land. They shall bring gold and incense. Your city gates shall be open continuously day and night, so that men may bring to you the wealth of the nations. For brass, I will bring gold. For iron, I will bring silver. For wood, I will bring brass. For stones, I will bring iron. I will make your rulers peaceful and your judges righteous. Violence shall no more be heard in your land. The sun shall no longer be your light by day, and the moon will not give you brightness. But the Lord shall be your everlasting light. The sun shall not set, and the moon will not go dark. The Lord shall be your everlasting light, and your days of mourning shall end. I, the Lord, will hasten it in its time. Wow. Seriously. The amazing words of the prophet Isaiah, the sublime beauty of the images, it lifts us up. And just to hear those words spoken aloud, and we're filled with hope and elevation and joy. But there's a teensy-weensy problem. You knew that, didn't you? Listen, the last sentence, I, the Lord, will hasten it in its time. The teachers of the Kabbalah ask, how can you do both? Okay, in other words, if the prophecy occurs in its time, that tells us that the timing is fixed. It has its own time. It's preordained to occur at a certain moment. So how is it that it can also be hastened or sped up? And how can it be both ways? Listen again. That which will occur in its right time, I will speed it up. Okay. Now, here's the answer, and it's important. Time is fluid. Okay. Time is much more fluid than we usually think because we get real wrapped up in our clocks. Remember, we said in the beginning that the flow of time appears to be speeding up. What we're saying is that the flow of time is fluid. It is variable. It is subject to change. 12th grade physics, time moves differently depending on your frame of reference. What the prophet Isaiah is telling us is in his glorious vision, his vision of peace and love and prosperity and everlasting light and healing. This vision is already preordained. It will come to pass. Have no doubt. It's real, not just pretty words. It's real. It's going to happen at a certain point in time. But that point in time is actually fluid, and that point in time is subject to change. We have the power, okay, to speed it up. We can speed up that prophecy. We have the authority collectively to make it happen as soon as we want. This is fantastic news. The world appears engulfed in darkness, and in the midst of that darkness, we can bring about a transformation greater than anything we've ever seen before. We can hasten it in its time. How do we do this? Make a serpent of brass. By transforming our selfish nature into sharing and taking that action. Okay, for example, let's say you're in Walmart. You're in Walmart and you're in Walmart, you're praying, please, the light, how can I share and transform in this moment? I don't know how, but the light of the Creator does. Or let's say you're stuck in traffic at Main Street in Pinion Hills. You know, I remember that intersection, and you're praying, please, the light, how can I transform and share in this moment? or you're watching the news, or you're talking on the phone, you're taking out the trash, you're helping a customer, whatever it is that you're doing. Please, the light. How can I share and transform in this moment? See, even though the Creator's light of mercy and love and healing is all around us, it does not become manifest until somebody chooses to share that light. Until somebody chooses to share that light, the world remains engulfed in the appearance of darkness. The future before us is bright. We are assured of that. It's bright with hope and light and healing and love. And we have the power to accelerate it when we choose to share and give and help and do the heavy lifting of transformation within ourselves. These 3 tough questions, 1 exciting answer. El na rifana la. Thank you for letting me share this morning. The best is yet to come.
Thank you, Mark. Very good. And it went right along with everything else that we did today. From our book study on, it was all good. It was all good. Anybody want to unmute and comment to Mark? Now's the time. Well, it sounds like we have a bunch of silent ones today.
No, let me say something. Thank you, Mark, for answering the 3 great questions, and then especially your optimistic view of the best is yet to come. That's what I'm hanging my star on right now. So
Well,
thanks for putting that out there.
Isaiah 60.
Okay, I'm going to study it today.
Do that. Seriously.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Mark. This is exactly what we needed. Thank you. There is hope.
Yes. Yes, there is.
Mhm.
Yep. Well, thank you, Mark. And we appreciate, we always love it when you share with us. Thank you again.
Welcome.
There we go. Say, so now we have our brother Fred has another song for us. You ready, Fred?
Indeed. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Well, I was gonna do a more recent pop song, but figured I'd change it to this one. It's a pretty easy song. Everybody knows this song. Anne Murray made it famous. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. There'll be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh, yes, I can make it now that pain is gone. All of those bad feelings have disappeared. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. There's nothing but blue, blue skies. Yeah. Look straight ahead. There's nothing but blue, 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 blue sky. Yeah. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles that are in my way. Yeah. And here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yeah, it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Have a great day. I'll text you my new address, Jerry, okay? Do you have your phone? Okay. Hang in there, girl. Love you.
Ron, we
You're
can't hear
muted,
you.
Ron. You've been talking and nobody can hear
I
you.
am muted. Okay. Well, what I said was that what I'm hearing today is that a hope, light, and love is on our doorstep, and all we need to do is open the door and welcome it in. So that's a good thing. You know, that is the most used phrase in the past year. You're muted. So, all right. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate all of your contributions. We will have a board meeting next week. Does anybody else have any notices? Anything they need to share with all of us?
Yeah. Next weekend is the whole expo in Durango. Last year they had to cancel it because of COVID, but they're trying again. And so I won't be here next Sunday. I have a booth there at the fair, and George is going to be speaking. He has 2 topics he's going to be covering. One about the healer, and I don't remember what the other one is, but it should be an interesting weekend with a lot of good speakers and 50 to 60 booths in that great big huge room. So
All right. Thank you, Mark. Does it start on Friday? Is it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or just Saturday and
it's
Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday.
Just Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
So you can go on Saturday and still come up here if you come to the church services if you'd like. You can do both, except unless you have a booth, then you have to be
Yeah.
there. Right? Yeah. All right. Jenny, you have something? Sure.
Just for me, this is really good news, and I appreciate the power of 8 and their power so much, because my son Brady, who has had these issues, sensitivities, whatever, he has suffered for like 7 years. Finally, he has an appointment with the Mayo Clinic on September 27th. He'll probably spend the week there being analyzed, and hopefully they'll come up with a diagnosis and treatment. So thank you, everybody who's been, meditating and praying for Brady.
No. We have prayed for him every time. Yeah, that's great. We're glad that it's come to fruition. That's great. All right.
Oh, can I share something else?
Sure.
In Power of Eight, we've been praying for my sister. She was supposed to have a low back surgery because she was having so much pain. All she could really do was sit in a recliner. She'd get up and it was just too painful. And so the day she was to have surgery, she was at the hospital, but before she could have it, she had a seizure and the seizure would not stop. So they put her in an induced coma, and she is so sensitive to medicines that she overreacts to them. And so they took her off the induced coma medicine and she didn't wake up for 5 whole days. And after the 5th day, she finally woke up. But the thing is, she has no back pain. It's gone, totally gone. So I am thankful for everybody who's been keeping her in prayer. And she's in rehab right now, regaining strength. I mean, after that
Yeah.
seizure and then being totally lying, not moving for 5 days, there's a lot of rehab that she's gonna need to go through. But she's going through it without pain in her low back.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
The strength goes away so quickly and it's hard to gain back.
Yeah.
Those of us that have gone through it and had been immobile, Jim a couple of years ago was lying on his back. It took a long time to get your strength back. Have you got it all back yet?
Also, my cousin in Wyoming that has COVID, she almost passed away, but now she's home and she's getting better slowly.
Mhm.
And she said she's just very tired, but our prayers really helped her too. Everybody's prayers,
All right.
not just ours. She had a lot of prayers with her. So Jerry, hang in there. We love you.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Carol. By the way, Jerry, do you feel like telling us how is Rhonda and your granddaughter? No. Are they okay? They're okay. They're not, probably not 100%, but they're much better than they were, right? Okay. Well, that's all we want to know. If we ask for progress, we don't demand perfection. So that's great. Progress. So
Does your son have COVID too? Yes. Okay.
he got it too. Yeah. Whole family, it's a shared problem. So
It's just good to see you're smiling, Jerry.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Glorious.
Absolutely. All right. Does anyone else have anything? We have our
Yeah,
Course
I got
in
one thing.
Miracles group has been put on hold. I don't know. I thought that Susan might be here today, but apparently her computer must still be on the fritz. So as soon as I may try to contact her some kind of way, see if I can help her, but to get her back online. We've been off now for 2 weeks on our Course in Miracles. And so she'll get back as quickly as she can. I know she will. In the meantime, Margaret is heading up our Course in our Power of 8 on Thursday nights and at 6:30. And you are welcome to come and share with us when we are sending out light and love for the people on the list. Also, if you have anyone that you would like for us to pray for, get in touch with Margaret, please, because our list is never too long. We could pray all night if necessary. It doesn't matter, but we usually have from 15 to 20 people, don't we, Margaret, that we are praying for
At
one
least.
time.
We've got more than that right now.
Yeah,
So.
but some of them go off the list whenever what we're praying for them comes to fruition. So that's like Brady. That's good. So does anyone have anything else? It was great music, great talk, good fellowship.
I will be speaking next week and giving you guys some music. So
Yeah. So Fred's doing dual duty
title
next
of
week.
it-
Both.
the title of it is The Power of Acceptance.
The Power of Acceptance. All right. That's great. Next week. So come and see Fred, talk and sing. So next week is going to be a double dose of Fred. So that'd be great. On the 19th, which is the following Sunday, Jim, Steve, I will not be here. I have to be in Santa Fe that weekend, and I don't think I'll make it back. So you guys will need to, I'm just giving you a little couple of weeks notice here. So somebody else is going to need to facilitate the meeting. Somebody can do it. Okay. You guys are all talented and good. I do nothing that any of you can't do too. So it's all good. All right. Fred, will you give us a prayer to send us on our way?
All right. To all that's good, to all that has been given to us, we're grateful. Let us take everything that we've learned here today and share it with everybody around us, everybody that we meet, and everybody that we come in contact with during the week. We appreciate this time together. We appreciate each other. We appreciate you. In the name of all that's good. Amen.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you. So may the Lord bless you and keep you until we meet again. Thank you.
Love you, Mark.
Next week. See you,
Love you
everybody.
too.
So I'm going to turn off the recording. We can hang around and talk.